In this tutorial we will have a look how we can create level selection. So if I just right click, the level 2 just gonna be interactable, and if we click on this first button or this level 1, we're gonna load up the level 1 as you can see. And we can go back. As you can see, the level 2 just get unlocked, and if we just click on this level, if I just right click on mouse button, the third level just gonna be unlock. You can just do this thing anywhere you want, something like if you are at the end of the level, if you just win the first level, you can just make the second level interactable or clickable or to playable. You can just do that thing anywhere you want. And I want to thank Arvir for donating me on Patreon. And if you guys want to do that, you can do on my Patreon page. I have a link in the description, and I'm gonna give a link all of this sprite in the description, and you can go and check that out. So if I now just open up the level 2, go back, as you can see the third level just get a clickable. And if I just right click on mouse, the fourth level just by now it should be unlocked. So if I just load up the level 3 and go back, as you can see the level 4 just get unlocked. I hope you get the idea. So we're gonna make this in this tutorial. So without furthering delay, let's dive into this topic. To do so, let's go to hierarchy, right click or hit this plus icon, then just go over to UI and select this canvas, and if to focus on that canvas, and this is our canvas, and we need to place all of the UI elements like buttons and icons into this canvas. So we need to create the canvas first, and then we can create those level buttons. So create the canvas and move over to inspector. In the bottom you can see canvas scaler, so just go right here and select UI scale mode to scale with screen size, and put in the X, we're gonna put 1920 in the X and 1080 in the Y. So now it will be our HD, and you can do with portrait as well. So you can just flip the values and you can get that. So now let's create a panel. To create a panel, let's right click on this canvas, then go to UI and select this panel. And what I'm gonna do, as you can see this panel just straight away with our canvas, I'm gonna shrink it down, or you can leave like this. So this will be our panel. So I'm gonna, let's suppose I'm just gonna shrink down. To do so, let's hold down all, so it's gonna shrink down from the center as you can see. And what we want to do, we want to replace this panel with an UI. So I'm going to go over to project tab, then assets and UI. I have it over here. I'm going to give a link in the description. You can go and check that out. So I'm going to select this one. So select that and drag it over to this background fill. Into this image fill first, go over to image component, and you need to drag right over here as you can see, and you can hold down all so to match up the correct size. So I'm going to do something like this, and let's go to color fill. Let's click right there and make sure you just drag this A channel all the way up, something like 255 as you can see, or you can just shrink down. And let's cut. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change the color of this background or this main camera. So let's select this main camera and let's click on this background, and I'm gonna choose something like bluish, bluish tone, and you can just choose any color you like, something like this. I'm gonna choose okay. So this seems pretty great. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna right click on this panel, then go to UI and select go to legacy in the bottom and select this button. So as you can see, and I'm gonna scale this button something like this, and we want to change the sprite of this button. To do so, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select any sprite, something like this one, or we can choose any of them. So I'm just confused what to choose. Let's choose this one. Sorry. let's choose this one. Let's select that and drag it, select the button and select that sprite and drag it to image source image field right over here. As you can see, it's now turned it. So I'm gonna scroll down. Let's click on this set native size. So as you can see, this is our button. So let's click right over here and let's select the text, and I'm gonna increase the text size. To do so, let's increase the text size something like 100, and instead of saying button, I'm gonna say it something like 1. And what we want to do, let's scale this button, and I'm gonna select font style to bold, and you can replace this font with any. I'm gonna choose this robot or full. I'm gonna give a link as well for this one in the description. You can go and check that out. So I'm gonna select this one. So this case seems pretty good, and let's duplicate this button because basically we're gonna create 6 levels, so that's why we will create 6 buttons. So I'm gonna duplicate this. So select the button first, Control D to duplicate, and let's suppose you just want to make spaces, or basically we need to just drag this button right over here. So instead of doing this, what we can do, make sure you just go to panel of this parent game object of this button, go there and go over to inspector, scroll down, click on add component, and find right over there grid by layout group. So just select that. As you can see, it indeed turned. And what we have to do, we're going to increase the button size. Before we do that, let's go to padding. Just click on this padding and you can just make spaces like this. So I'm going to make it something like 80 from the left and 80 from the top, 80 from the top, and we can make spaces between these buttons. To do so, I'm gonna scale this X space something like let's do 50, and I want to increase the button size. To do so, let's as go to cell size. In the X, I'm gonna do 200, and in the Y, let's do 200. As you can see, it's indeed done, and I'm gonna I'm gonna just do the left in the something like 150 or 150 we can do, and in the Y we can do something like 100. And let's duplicate this button. So I'm gonna select this one, Control D to duplicate. As you can see, it's duplicating. I'm gonna duplicate 6 times, and we also need to make some spaces between in the vertical axis. So let's select this panel and let's so I'm gonna do in the Y something like 10, or we can just go with 25. And I guess this seems pretty cool now, and we need to change the text inside of this second button, third button, and the fourth, and so on. So let's select the second button. Let's click right on this second button, and I'm gonna just change the text inside of this button with 2. And now let's select this 3. Let's click right over here. Let's change with 3. And this fourth one, I'm gonna choose 4, and 4, and the fifth one I'm gonna choose 5. So let's do change with 5, and the sixth one I'm gonna choose 6. So this is our button, as you can see. So, and make sure you just make this one prefab, so you're gonna have a copy, so you don't need to work from scratch. So I'm going to select this panel and let's drag it into these assets and create a prefab folder and drag it right there. As you can see, I just created panel. Now if I just delete from the scene view, as you can see, it's gone. But we can select that panel from that folder and we can just drag it top of this canvas, and all things is okay, as you can see. So if we click on this play button, this buttons does nothing currently. As you can see, we have button 1. Once we click on this button 1, so we need to load up level 1. And if we click on this button 2, we need to click basically we need to load level 2, so and so on. It's just gonna go on. So I'm gonna get out of play mode, and if I just go to project tab, assets, and prefabs, scenes, we have level 1 right over here. So I'm going to click on save. Whatever changes I made into this menu, you can say it will be saved. So I'm going to save that. As you can see, we have level 1. So just pretend that these are level 1 and level 2 and level 3, and list just goes on with our 6. So this is our level 6. So I'm gonna go over to menu scene one more time. So as you can see, this is our menu. So once we click on this first button, I want to load up the first level. So make sure you just drag it all of these levels into built-in settings. To do so, what you have to do, you need to go to top left file. So just click on that and click on build settings, or the shortcut key you can see Control Shift plus B. So just click right there and you're gonna see and drag the levels one by one. So as you can see, level 1 and the build index of it we can see in the right section. So if we just pass the build index right over here 1, so the first level just gonna load out right away, and if we pass the build index 2, the second level just gonna load up. So make sure you just drag all of the scenes right over here, or the levels in scenes in bins, by selecting and dragging right over here. So I hope you get the idea. And now let's create a script. Basically that script just gonna hold, if we just click on this level 2 button, we need to load up level 2, basically level 2, we need to load up level 2. And if we click on this 6 button, and then we need to load up level 6. So and the list just goes on. So let's create a script. So to do so, let's go to project tab, then assets, and create a script folder, and go there, right click, create C# script, and name it to something like level manager. I already have created, I have it over here. And go over to hierarchy, and you can attach this script to any game object of your hierarchy, or you can just create a separate game object for this level manager to make it even more simple. So just go to hierarchy, right click, then create an empty game object, make it something like level manager, name it something like level manager, go over to transform, right click and reset the transform, and select that script and drag it to add component section. I already have it over here, as you can see. So I'm gonna just delete this one, and let's select that level manager game object, and let's double click that script to open it up in Visual Studio. So what we will do, we will make a function in the bottom, something right over here. Let's suppose right over here. So we will make this function public, because we want to call this function through our button, and this function just gonna handle which level to load out. So we want to call this function. If we go to Unity, then canvas panel, and then select this first button and go over to inspector, scroll down, we can see on click. So we can call the function right over here, and the function just gonna do the rest thing. So let's go to script and let's create it right over here. So we're gonna make this one public. So we will make this one public. For function we have to type void, and we can call this function to something like load level, and make this make this first bracket and some curly brackets. And this function right over here gonna take argument, and that will be int. So int like whole numbers 0 1 2 3 4, and we can call this something like index, or we can call anything like that. So I'm gonna call this something like level, and this function just gonna load up the level we want, and as a argument we can pass right over here 1. So if we pass right over here 1, we know 1 is the first level, and if we pass right over here 2, index 2, then this right over here gonna load up the second level, and the list just gonna go on. And to load up a level, we need to use scene manager dot load function. Before you use that, what you have to do, you need to include this namespace called using unity engine dot scene management. Make sure you just using that. And now let's go right over here, and to load a function we need to use this scene manager dot load scene load scene function, and this function right over here in arguments it's gonna take the build index of the level or the name of the scene. So in our case, we can, in quotation, you can pass the name of the level, or we can pass the index. So I'm gonna pass right over here level and close that up with some my colon. And let's suppose as a level right over here, if I pass something like index let's suppose 3, so the scene manager dot load scene right over here gonna load up the 3 level, because this one gonna be 3. But we can just make we can just pass any value we like, and we can just replace this level with some certain number. For the first level we're gonna pass right over here, or gonna replace this level with 1, and for the second we will replace with 2, and the list just goes on. So make sure you just press down Ctrl S to save your code and go back to Unity, and we're gonna have a look on that. So I'm gonna select all of this level by holding down Shift. So make sure you just see the build index of each level. To make sure you need to go to top left file. So just go to top left file, then build settings, and you can see the build index of it in the right section. So the first level build index is 1, and the second level build index is 2, and it just goes on. So I'm going to select all of this button by holding down Shift. So let's select all of this button by holding down Shift, and we hit this plus icon, and we need to drag the game object in which game object the script is setting on. Then we can call the function right over here. So the script setting on in level manager, so let's select that script and drag it in there, and it says no function. So let's click right there, and let's go over to level manager script, and in there we created this load level function, as you can see. So let's select that, and now I'm going to select the first button, or this button, first button, and for the first button I'm going to pass right over here as a level parameter 1. So, and we do know 1 basically means the first level, and for this second button we're going to pass as a basically we just replacing this level with numbers. So the second we're gonna pass 2, and for this third we're gonna pass 3, and fourth, and the list just goes on. And the for fifth, sorry, this will be 5, and for this 6 we're gonna make 6. I hope you get the idea, and make sure you just go to overrides, panel, basically the parent game object, then go to inspector, then overrides, and click on apply all. So the changes we made will be saved into this prefab game object of this panel as well. So now if we click on this play button in the top, if we click on this fourth button, we should able to see that fourth level just gonna load up right away. So just wait for to see. So now if we just click on this 4 button, as you can see 4 button just get load up, and I just made a function backspace, basically it's just loading up to go back. Or what else you can do, you can just get out of play mode and hit this play button one more time to check that out if it's working fine or not. So now if I just click on this first button, we need to we should able to see that first level just gonna load up right away. So if we click on this first button, as you can see the first level just get load up. So I'm gonna get out of play mode, and what we want to do now, we want basically this level to be interactable. So this second button should be interactable or unclickable. When the game start, the first level should be available, and all of these levels should be unavailable or unclickable. So we're gonna make that. So to do so, let's open up our script. So let's double click our level manager to load it up. So to basically load that up, and what we need all of these levels, or you can say all of this button, and then we can set this interactable or uninteractable. So uninteractable or interactable, sorry, I apologize for that. So over here we're gonna make a public, so we can see underneath our level manager script, and those are buttons, so that's why we have to use this button. But we cannot able to see any button variable right over here, and it just giving an error. So what we have to do, we need to use an namespace. It's called using unity engine dot ui. Basically we are working with ui, so that's why we need to include that namespace. So let's go to top of our class and let's use this using unity engine dot ui, and now we are able to use these buttons. And as you can see, we have more than one button, so that's why we're gonna make an array. So basically we have to type this square brackets. An array basically can hold up multiple values. It can be name, it can be numbers, it can be even game objects, even it can be buttons. And we have to name the array. Let's call this one something like buttons and close that up with some colon. And what we want to do now, so let's save the script first, and now let's move to unity, and we need to drag this all of this button into that array. We need to drag this. By default that array will be empty. It's gonna say list is empty. So just wait, it's gonna say something like this. So let me remove this. Okay, so it's gonna say buttons is empty, as you can see we have 0 buttons. So what we can do, we're gonna lock this. In the top inspector right, you can see the lock button. So lock it and select all of this button by holding down shift and drag it into that array. Now we have button first button, and the first button index is 0, second button index is 1, third button index is 2, and the list just goes on. And I'm gonna unlock it now, and we have all of these buttons. Now we can set this active or inactive or interactable or in uninteractable, in interactable or interactable. To do so, let's go to script one more time now. And for that we're gonna move over to this update function, and we do know that update function runs every single frame. So over here we're gonna use these for loops. So just tap twice on your press down, tap twice on your keyboard, so it's gonna fill out the for loop structure. And over here as a length we're gonna pass right over here buttons dot length, but sorry, we're gonna do buttons dot length. Basically means how many buttons we have. We do know we have 6 buttons. So this for loop start from 0 as you can see, and it's gonna go up with 6. So we do know that 0 will be lesser than 6, so the condition over here getting true. So whatever we're gonna write in between this curly bracket will be execute. And now and then, so this just gonna add plus plus, basically means adding 1. So 0 plus 1 right over here gonna be now 1. So the next time this for loop I over here is 1, and we definitely know that 1 is still lesser than 6, so the condition over here getting one more time true. So whatever we write in between this curly bracket will be execute. Now this 1 plus 1 gonna be 2, and the list just gone. So this I gonna be true, and let's suppose this I hits 5. So and we do know that 5 is lesser than 6. So 5 plus 1 right over here gonna be 6 now. And the last time, so I over here is now 6, and we do know that 6 is not lesser than 6. The condition over here getting true, false. So that's why whatever we write in between this curly bracket will not be executed by now, because the condition over here getting false. So this for loop runs until this condition becomes false. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make a variable just to keep track of which level we are in, or the index of that level. To do so, we're gonna go to top of our class, and you can make this field private. It doesn't need to be public. For explanation, I'm gonna make this one public, and that will be int, like whole numbers 0 1 2 3 4, and I'm gonna call this one something like level index. And what we will do, I'm gonna set this one to something like 1. Why? Basically we want to start with this first level, and the first level index or the build index of it 1. So that's why by default this level index I'm gonna set equal to 1. And now over here we're gonna check if level index level index, if it's greater than 0, sorry, not greater than 0, basically I, if that is the case, so we're gonna do something, or else if not is the case, if that is not the case, then we're gonna do something else. So we do know level index, we're gonna start from 1. So and I over here gonna be 0 for the first time. So we do know that I level index is 1. By default we set 1, as you can see, because we're gonna start with first level. So that's why by default just I have given 1. So the one level index over here is 1. So 1 gonna be for the first time, so this one is 1, so 1 will be greater than 0, so the condition over here getting true. And now whatever we're gonna write in between this curly bracket will be execute. And if not the case, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna just we're gonna do something else. So over here what we will do, we will go to buttons array, and then we have to make these square brackets, then I and dot, we will set that to interactable. So we're gonna set interactable to true. True, else what we're gonna do, we're gonna, let's copy this line of code by Control C and let's paste it over here. We're gonna set this interactable to false. False, as you can see. So as you can see, a level index right over here is gonna be 1. So the 1 will definitely gonna be greater than 0, so the condition over here getting true. So so this buttons I gonna start from 0, and we do know index of 0, basically the first button, or you can say the first level, or this button basically. So this gonna be interactable to true, basically that will be interactable, or else other buttons over here, as you can see, gonna be uninteractable to false. We just setting it to false, as you can see. So the first button just gonna be interactable, and all other buttons gonna be interactable to be false. Basically we're not gonna able to click on those buttons, because we need to increase this level index by 1. So then we can just set those buttons to be clickable. So make sure just press down Ctrl S to save your code and go back to Unity. And now if we click on this button, we're gonna able to see that this first button will be clickable, and all of this other button not gonna be able to clickable. You're gonna able to see that right away. As you can see, all of this button we are not able to click, but for the first button we are able to click on it. And if we just click, as you can see, the first level just load up. I hope you get the idea of this. So we also need to basically set this button to clickable, but when we should, when the player just win the first game, and then you can set these buttons to be clickable. So I'm gonna get out of play mode. So you can just do anywhere you want, but for now I'm gonna use a separate method for that. Basically, once I click the right mouse button, I'm gonna increase the level index by 1. So right over here, if we just so by default this one is 1, so 1 plus 1 gonna be 2. So basically I just want to increase by 1, so this gonna be 2, and we definitely know that 2 gonna be greater than I. So I for the next time will be 1. So basically it's a start from 0, as you can see, and it's gonna 0 plus 1 gonna be 1. So the next time this level index, if we set it to 2, and this gonna be 1, so 2 is greater than 1, so the I over here is now 1 basically means this second button. So the second button we setting interactable true by now, and then and other button we just setting in interactable something like, so this gonna be something like for the other button basically gonna be interactable to false. So basically we need to increase this level index to basically set this this button to be clickable. To do so, we're gonna use a separate function. Basically we will use a inbuilt function to save data of Unity. Basically that function is called PlayerPrefs. And for the first time we don't have any value to get or to set, or to basically to set. So that's why we're gonna use this get in, and make this first bracket, and in a string you have to save the value, and you have to create a string. So in quotation you have to create a value in that in that string or in that key. You can save the data whatever you want to save. So I'm going to call this something like level, and I want to set this level index, and make sure you just close that up with some semicolon. So right over here, as you can see, level index by default we set 1. So we just setting or saving the data this one into this level key. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put this whole value. So this right over here gonna be 1. So let's store that into this level index parameter. So this level index equal to this. So for the first time we just getting the value, as you can see, get in, and we saving the level or the level index into this level key, as you can see, and we just setting. So this one right over here gonna be 1. So this level index gonna be 1, and now we have to save the value. But where would we gonna do? You can just do anywhere you want to do. So I'm gonna check for the right mouse button. So I'm gonna do it somewhere over here. So I'm gonna check if input dot get mouse button down, and I'm gonna check for one basically means the right mouse button. So and make some curly brackets. You can do anywhere you want to set. Basically once you at the end of the level, then you can just increase this level index, or you increase this level index value by 1 into this level key. You can save that. But I'm gonna do when I just click the right mouse button, then I just want to increase or increase this save data by 1, or the level index you can see. So I'm gonna increase. So to increase, what are we gonna do? We're gonna use this PlayerPrefs to increase or to set a value. We need to use this set in value, and we have to pass the key in which key we want to set the value or we want to increase. So we want to increase, and make sure you just typing the same name, which is level over here. So we're going to type, or we want to save there. So we're going to type level, and the value we want to set. So we're going to set level index, and top of that level index I'm gonna increase level by 1. So that's why top of that I'm gonna add +1, and make sure you just close that up with some column. Now control S to save your code. So whenever I just click the right mouse button, then I'm just setting this level value or this level index. I'm just increasing by 1, as you can see, and you can just set this value something like I'm not gonna do that. So let's leave it. Now control S to save your code, and let's go to Unity. And now if we just click on this play button and just try to click right mouse button, then we're gonna increase our, or just we're gonna set this, or we basically increasing that level index. So the level index right over here gonna be now 2, and this next time, this right over here, this next time or the second time, this will be 1. So the 2 is greater than 1, so the condition over here getting true. So that's why this button 1 basically means this second button just gonna be interactable or clickable, and all other buttons gonna be interactable, or we are not gonna able to click those buttons basically. So make sure you just press down Ctrl S, go back to Unity and click on this play button, and once I click the right mouse button, I'm just saving the value. And you can just do that anywhere you want. Let's suppose you are at the end of the level, then you can just do that. Sorry, we done some mistakes. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit this play button. Before we do, okay, so over here, as you can see, level index we just increasing by 1, so what I'm gonna do, so make sure you just doing level, I'm gonna change the key instead, something like I'm gonna call level at, level at, so I'm getting an error, but you can just go with level at, or you can say something like level. It's totally up to you. It's not gonna throw an error to you. It's gonna just do the thing right away. So make sure Control S to save your code. I just created a new key. It's totally up to you. It doesn't matter at all. I just have done a little bit mistake right there. I already created a level key basically, so that's why I'm just getting an error, but for you it's gonna be fine. So now I'm gonna click on this, hit this play button in the top, and let's have a look right now. Just wait. As you can see, the first button is interactable. We can click on that, and now if I just right click on the right click mouse button, as you can see, this button should get clickable right now. To see that, I'm gonna get out of play mode, and now if I just click on this play button in the top one more time, you're gonna able to see this second button just gonna be interactable, or just gonna be clickable by now, because we just increase it. As you can see, indeed it does. And now if I just click right click on mouse button one more time, this third button just gonna be interactable or clickable by now. So if I just get out of play mode, so basically if I just hit this play button one more time and click on this play button, and you can able to see that this right over here, the third button just gonna be interactable or clickable, and all these other buttons just gonna be interactable. As you can see, indeed it's going and it's working fine. So I hope you get the idea that how you can just do all of these things. So now if I just click on this 3 button, and the level 3 should be load up. So if I just click, as you can see, indeed the level 3 I just loaded up, and you can ignore this problem. It doesn't need to be, you can just ignore this one. So if I just backspace, I can go back, sorry. As you can see, I hope you get the idea of all of this, how you can just set a button to be clickable or unclickable depending upon which level you completed so far. You can just set the next one to be clickable. I hope you get the idea of that. And I want to thank you, all of you guys, to watching this video through the end. And lastly, I hope you get the idea, and I want to thank you, all of you guys, to for watching this video completely. And bye for now. I will see you in the next tutorial.